Since the Indian Constitution provide federal type of government, so in India there are separate legislatures at state, and there is a legislature at center. That's the union legislature, on which we had already discussed. Today we are going to discuss on the state legislature, that is the legislature of state. Each state in India is having a legislature. All 22 states are having their own legislatures. However, in some states it's bicameral and in some states it's unicameral. Almost 5 states have bicameral legislature and 17 states have unicameral legislature. Today we will discuss on the state legislature in India. The state legislature in India is consist of a governor and one or two houses, depending on whether the state legislature is unicameral or bicameral. 17 states have unicameral cameral legislature. It means they have only one house, that is the Legislative Assembly. And 5 states have bicameral legislature, that is they have both the Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. The bicameral legislature in states can be established or abolished through an ordinary law by Parliament if two-thirds of the Legislative Assembly of the concerned state passed a bill in favor. That is, if two-thirds majority of the Legislative Assembly of a state passed a bill in favor of either establishing a bicameral legislature or abolishing the bicameral legislature, then the Parliament can establish a bicameral legislature or abolish a bicameral legislature by passing an ordinary law. That's by at Parliament, that law has to be passed by simple majority. So in this way, a unicameral legislature can be made or a bicameral legislature can be made in a state. The legislative council, that's not the popular house in the state legislature, and according to the constitution, legislative council consists of one-third of the legislative assembly. That is, if there are 3 members in the legislative assembly, there will be 1 member in legislative council. However, the minimum number must not be less than 40. Again, there is an exception. The Legislative Council of Jammu Kashmir have only 36 members, and remaining others, some other states have more than 40. For example, in UP, the Vidhan Sabha or Legislative Council is consist of some 106 or 8 members. And the election criteria for the Legislative Council is also distributed among different bodies. One-third of the members of the Legislative Council are elected from or by the self-governing local bodies. That is, the one-third members of the Legislative Council are elected by the different local governments, and remaining one-third are elected by the Legislative Assembly, and those members must not be the members of Legislative Assembly, and they must not be MLAs. And so in this way, two-thirds are elected from the local self-governing bodies, by two-thirds are elected by local self-governing bodies and the state legislative assembly. And from remaining members, 112 are elected from residing graduates. There's at least 3-year graduates of the state concerned elect 1/12 of the members of Vidhan Sabha, and 1/12 of the members are elected by registered teachers. The teachers who are teaching at least at secondary or higher secondary level can vote for them, and 1/12 of the members are elected by the teachers, and the remaining members are elected by governor, having from those who are having specialized knowledge in different fields. For example, if they are having specialized knowledge in arts or in any field of science, the governor has the right to elect or elect the members of legislative council for that. And the legislative council is a permanent body. That is, the entire legislative council does not get dissolved at the same time. One third of the the members of legislative council get retired after every 2 years. So, and in their place, the new members are elected. So, in this way, the legislative council continues its work and it does not dissolve at the entire legislative council dissolve at the same time. The quorum for the legislative council is 1/10 of its members, or 10, depending on which is larger. For example, for Kashmir, the 1/10 become just 36 or 37. Uh, there are total 36 or 37 members, so 1/10 become almost 3 or 4 members. But in that case, the 4 will not be the quorum. The quorum will be 10. And for UP, the 1/10 is almost 12 or 13, something like that. For UP, the quorum will be 10, right? Depending, 13 or 14. So the quorum is either 1/10 of the legislative council or 10, depending on which is the larger one. Now the Legislative Assembly is the popular house at state. It's also called Vidhan Sabha. The number of members or the size of Legislative Assembly is not fixed for all states, and the larger states have large legislative assemblies and small states have small legislative assemblies, but their number is fixed between 500 and 60. That's it. It must not exceed 500 and it must not be less than 60. And the members of legislative assembly are elected directly through adult franchise system. And there are reserved seats in legislative assembly for scheduled caste, tribe and Anglo-Indians, and on these reserved seats the candidates from the concerned caste are elected. For example, if there are seats reserved seats for scheduled caste, then members from scheduled caste can contest those elections and they are elected from there. And the qualification of the member of legislative assembly is same as the Lok Sabha. That is, he must be 25 years and must be an Indian, and he must not be bankrupt, and he must be mentally sound, and he has to take the oath to show his allegiance to the Constitution of India. That is the requirement for the Lok Sabha as well. That's the same qualification is set for the to become the member of Legislative Assembly as well. Thank you for joining. Take care. Goodbye.